page.
Gotcha.
Oh snap! I forgot to even start.
Hey guys, we live.
Brews and Banner Podcast. What up? Welcome to Brews and Banner Podcast. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, is the Legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I got water, I got, juice or whatever. He's like, y'all need twin legs? Matter of fact, I do.
To everybody is,
Does Delaware have an actual culture?
this is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world. Politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink, pull up a chair.
This is what you could.
I'm in the field, we going up, tone to cut all the lights out. You want a problem, you better think about it, cause I come with a price now. I get a go, I do not think about it, I don't go with the hype style. Yeah, you want a problem, a little bit shine and fall. Everything that we talk about, still
That young boy be cussing a lot.
Okay.
No home training, huh, Lil?
I don't know where he got his own training from.
What up? Welcome to Bruising Banter Podcast, where the topic is the rocket and the brew. Well, happy to fuel. I'm your host, Rob G, and with me, as always, the Legendary Brew Crew. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
What is going on, everyone? How y'all doing?
Good.
I'm doing A-okay.
Has everybody detoxed from the weekend?
Oh, yeah.
That was a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all good just a week ago.
Literally.
I needed that. I needed like a week off.
I know. I saw people were still popping bottles. I saw them. They was sharing and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's. I guess if you did it in moderation, make sure you had your water, then you were straight.
Mm-hmm.
Or your what is it? Well, I'm not going to sponsor the product until they say, "Yo, we want to put you on." But other than that, but people know what it is.
I did good. I gave myself a pat on the back because I was nuts.
Yeah, everybody, maintained.
Right. Well, and I think I was watching Blackbeard Travel talk to Daya about the follow-up. He was like, it's probably one of the beer fests that they don't drink all the beer because the guest doesn't drink all the beer because people are talking and socializing and actually doing some of the other things that are involved in it. So that's always cool. Cause I think I definitely can understand. We posted by Holocaustal and Hen House for a while. So it was like, and enjoying the music there. I didn't know that was the main stage though, but I guess that was the main stage.
No, it seemed like the one in the festival would
the middle one was the main stage. Okay.
Yeah. Inside the festival, right? Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. All right. This is episode 135 of Brews and Banner Podcast. And like always, we always have, well, not always, but majority of the time we do have a great guest with us.
Right.
Wait,
today,
are you saying
no
that?
exception.
Are you saying that sometimes when we have guests, they're not a great guest, or just we don't have guests all the time?
We don't have guests all the time.
They always have great potential.
I'm gonna say they're great guests all the time.
I didn't name who was like, hey, whatever. Y'all got some behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes they're not all good.
To me, they're all wonderful. I love you all.
Clean it up.
One of us is telling the truth. Yoda, who you think telling
Me.
They didn't ask you, Rob. I didn't ask you.
Definitely me.
But this episode right here is about to be the best one.
No pressure. Like I said, we do have a guest, and we're about to bring her on.
What was that?
Because I was about to say,
you just have a stroke on.
Is he all right? Call 911 somebody.
Well, because I was about to say that I want to give it away, but then I was like, you know what? I'll keep going. You know, I always forget that my screen is touch screen, so I almost cut this off. I forgot it does that. So without further ado, I want to bring Elle
Start
Thomas.
over. No, start from the intro. Play the intro again, and we're gonna come back in.
I messed up earlier too, so it didn't matter.
Start it over, huh?
All right. Like I said, this is episode 135. And so without further ado, without any more interruptions.
Yeah, you can't. Yoda, you gotta let him get through this. He cannot hold it together when you start talking to him.
Right.
I'd like to bring Elle Thomas to the program, the founder of AirBrewNB.
Let's do it.
Welcome.
Hi,
welcome.
everyone.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited
glad
to be
you
here, you guys.
You are.
Podcast
You're in for a whole
Oh
treat.
boy, it's your debut.
Yeah.
Woo.
Is it your debut or debut?
Oh, like it.
We will tag brew on the end of it. Many things that we can. Yeah. Brew drop. We gotta. You know what? We gotta coin that. Let's coin that.
For sure.
Actually, yeah, it came off the dome, but now, yes, indeed, that is exactly when your first time guest on here. It is your debut.
Right.
There it is. I love it.
Yes.
You heard it here first. Brews and Banner podcast.
Yes.
Without further, like I said, we want to welcome you to the podcast. I think somebody dropped off. But before we get into what AirBrewNB is all about and who Elle Thomas is and her journey in craft beer, we always like to know what everybody is drinking. So, what are we drinking today? And we always like to start with our guests. So, Elle, what are you drinking today?
All right. So I am drinking something from a local brewery, Hedgehog Brewing Company.
Okay.
It is a supersonic cherry limeade is the name. And it's a farmhouse ale with cherries and limes. I figured, it's a nice way to we're in that weird time of year where we're like into summer, beginning instead of our fall beers.
Right.
And so I thought it'd be nice to enjoy an oak barreled with wild yeast from the hill country. And yeah, they just take their sours very seriously here in Austin. We're very lucky to have several breweries that have a whole barrel series, sour barrel series. We have one brewery that actually only does sour mashes, but I'm getting excited about beer. Back to what I'm drinking. So
Do it.
right. It has a gorgeous red color. Honestly, it almost looks like a Belgian beer just out the gate. But it has a nice, wonderful notes of that sort of lemon. It makes me think of Sonic, it really does. I'm not mad at it. I'm about to have my first taste. And let's see. I hear the Pour Me Another is the highest standard, and I think it's quite up there. It's just a solid, nice sour.
What's the ABV, Elle?
Nice.
Oh, 7.5.
7.5. Ooh, nice.
Hey, Elle, let me ask you,
For smooth as it is, 7.5 is quite nice. It's
Right.
very smooth.
Right.
is it always come in the bottle?
This series does. It was a limited release. So you know how they do with the Bombers when they usually have special releases. So for this one, yes. And I actually let it sit for about 6 months on my end, just since it was barrel aged to let it get a little extra. So we all know it might actually be closer to 8 now, but
Right.
Jesus.
That is
Yo, I have another question about the Hedgehog Brewery. Do they have a bunch of Sonic themed beers? I noticed that one is called Sonic.
yes, their mascot, the Hedgehog, since it's Hedgehog Brewing Company. I wanted to highlight this one specifically because they were one of the first to kind of sign up for the Black is Beautiful series here in Austin, as well as highlight the injustice of, Black people in America. They were out the gate, one of the first, before people were on blast with, all the things that were happening last year. So I always like to promote them when I'm in public as a thank you.
Nice. All
Thank
right.
you, Hedgehogs.
All right, Lou, what you drinking on?
I finally got a Dewey Beer Company beer.
You did.
Sacred
right.
Machine. If y'all can see that. Y'all see that?
Oh,
There it
yeah.
is. This one is the pineapple, grapefruit, and orange. It is a 7% ABV. It is a sour, if you guys didn't know. Keep cold, drink fresh. It has all the flavors of citrus. I feel like I'm drinking orange juice, like a mimosa almost. Oh yeah, this is my barrel and flowers there.
I was there.
Yeah, you know.
I didn't get a glass. I'm at the,
Why not?
You know what?
It was in the box. It was in the bag.
It wasn't one in my bag. I didn't know until we was already back at the.
That's heartbreaking.
You gotta fix that. You have to call.
Yeah, you gotta
absolutely. You paid for that.
You need 4 more glasses.
Premium ticket.
Right.
VIP ticket.
Yeah. But yeah, this is delicious. This is right up my alley. Elle, I don't know if you know, I was saying yum a lot when you were talking about the sours. I love sours. And this is a great sour. Secret Machine always does well. Dewey Beer Company. Cheers. Pass me another.
Hey.
Burn.
All right. Yo, what you drinking on?
I'm drinking on. I got a sour too.
Oh shit!
But I got a smoothie from Imprint. It was crazy because I was thinking about like all the different beers that we drank when we was at Brawl and Flow, and I didn't have anything that was like a smoothie, so I figured I might as well take a little sweet route today and have me a smoothie. This is the Dragon Fruit Peach Apricot Apricot, whatever you want to call it. This is a 6.2 ABV, but let me show y'all what it looked like. It looks just like it sounds.
What it look like, my man?
Yeah, it looks like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little thick, but you know what's funny? It's not as thick as the other ones. This has been like more of the lighter ones that I've had because the other ones be super thick,
a little thinned out.
Yeah. Maybe some more water. I don't know.
Put it on a diet a little bit.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good. It's definitely good. You can taste the peaches, and that's pretty much all I taste in it. Really, is peaches.
What about the apricots?
See, I don't know because I never ate one by itself.
I was hoping you was gonna give me.
I don't
know what they taste like either.
I've had dry apricot by itself.
What they taste like, Rob? The dry ones.
It's
just like all the other dry fruits.
Kind of, well, yeah, but it's not. But I don't think apricots are a very overpowering flavor to begin with. I think it's more of I think it's like a drier peach type of thing almost. I think.
Yeah, that's what I think. You know, it has dragon fruit in it too. But to me, like I've had a dragon fruit, and dragon fruit to me doesn't really have a strong flavor either. It's like I don't know. It's like watermelon to me. Watermelon, I'm like, what the fuck is the point of eating?
But you know what though?
It doesn't really have.
Yeah. Watermelon got a distinct taste that I don't think is good unless you're eating watermelon. Like, you don't like watermelon candy, like Jolly Rancher? No, I do not. No, watermelon flavor is trash. Like
airhead watermelon. Oh
no, bro. No, that sounds experiment.
I'm a candy junkie, so
yeah, I know.
So don't give me watermelon. We know. Don't
watermelon
give me watermelon candy and don't play Future.
Yes, and I bet you Future's favorite candy is anything watermelon. He would do that shit just on purpose. But what I was going to say is, it's weird that it seems like every time we drink these fruited beers and we speak about bananas or peaches, they're the fruits that are always the well spoken, and you get the mouthfeel, and you can always taste those two flavors. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I always notice that the peach has something else in it. And
somebody at the beer fest said they were the selfish fruits.
Yeah. I agree.
Get out of here.
Well said. They take every.
I was like, you know what?
A cornucopia of fruits, and you taste peach and banana. Can't taste nothing else. Maybe a granny apple. But
all right. Dad, what you drinking on?
Mute.
How did you come off mute?
Like we've been doing this.
There was a lot going on. There was a lot going on before you got to me, so I tried to stay muted the whole time. I'm like, "Yo, get out! Why y'all want to move around?" Once
it's 1 o'clock.
Everybody was quiet.
Y'all hear furniture being moved?
Exactly. Why the garage door did slam like 4 times in 4 seconds? So, but back to the beer. What I'm drinking on? I'm drinking on Grist House, their Bird in the Brain New England IPA.
Okay.
This came via Barrel and Flow Fest of my my little walk around cooler that everyone came to appreciate later. But it got stuck in the cooler. I don't even know if I got it from. I don't think I even got it from Grist House. Somebody dropped it in there. But this is a New England style IPA. with Creole hop, trial blend, Idaho 7, Centennial, and Laurel hops. I think it's Laurel hops. But
Is
this is
Idaho in there?
Yeah,
Idaho.
Idaho 7. Idaho 7.
Interesting.
This is right below my threshold, guys. It's a 5.7, but I can dig it. It's mild in terms of the hoppiness of the blend that they use in there. That's the color. Looks a lot like yours, Lil. Looks just like yours. You know that what you have, Secret Machine?
Y'all got the same glass.
That's what I said. Look,
and
just
we're
like
rocking the same glass. So here's my
glass
brother.
We all break them.
Oh,
that's messed up. My one ain't looking. I looked in my bag. I looked in my bag. Why don't you look in your bag?
Because the thing is that I looked in my bag, but I didn't know it was supposed to be glass in the bag until I saw Roberts when we got back to the room.
Bro, you like, wait a minute.
I feel like you ain't look hard enough.
You mean Rob? No, I'm sure.
Hey, Rob G. Hey, Rob G.
Yes, sir.
Hey, wait, hey, Lou.
Yes.
I wasn't even done.
Oh yeah,
Continue. Move right on because we got talking about the glass.
Cheers.
The other beer that I'm having today, because I've been on detox. I'm drinking two today. I'm having this Internal Shine. This is also a New England
I like that can.
double IPA. This is the brand's collab that she did with the 11 Hour Brewing Company. So this was specifically for Barrel and Flow, as you guys can see.
I'm gonna go out on the limb and say, Hannah, that wasn't even half bad, Hannah. That IPA wasn't even half bad.
Yeah.
That's not even a biased thing. That was a good IPA. It was a couple good, like two. Good IPAs.
Oh, you said a couple.
Yeah, I was about to be like maybe few, but no, couple. Yeah.
So why he probably enjoyed it, because as you know, Lou, you are a Kool-Aid drinker. This had some tangerines, notes of tangerine in it. It
was a lot less
oranges, pineapple, passion fruit.
There you go.
Smooth wheat and oats lay out a fluffy base for the Citra, Strata, and Azaka hops to shine. 8.0 ABV. Pass me another on both Gris House.
Okay,
for sure.
Yes,
really good.
Now, turn it over to you, Lou.
Hey, Rob G, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I haven't seen you since brunch Sunday.
Yeah,
a lot of food and drinks have gone.
And drinks were still being poured.
Yeah. That's good. That's how you know it's a good time.
Yeah, it was a really good time. What would you happen to be drinking on this week, sir?
I'm actually drinking. I'm sipping on a sour. I don't know if I'm drinking it. I'm sipping.
You ain't like it?
It's from Ouzel Finch. It's called.
Are you saying that right?
Yeah, Ouzel Finch, right there.
I don't know.
Yeah, out of
that's right.
A little wordplay.
Out of somewhere, Fort Monroe, Virginia. There you go.
Okay.
It sounds somewhere
out of Fort Monroe.
It says used guys right there. I'm not sure it's not showing up there, but it says it's called used guys because it is a New York cheesesteak style sour.
What?
So it has key lime pie. It's sour ale with key lime.
Cheesecake or cheesesteak?
Cheesecake.
Oh, I thought you said steak.
I might have said cheesesteak.
Yeah, I was like, that's gross. Put that sounds.
I was gonna try it though, but yeah,
definitely gonna taste it. Definitely got to taste it.
What else we got? Key lime. What else?
It has sour ale with key lime, puree, cream cheese, vanilla, lactose, and other natural and artificial flavors. Is always the one that
yeah, that's what kills you.
Yeah. But it said, I don't know if anybody saw it. It said stop, drop, and roll your can. So I was over here rolling it. I think I rolled it too much. So I don't know when I fell off the camera. It started going everywhere.
Oh, you really were trying to, season that thing before
you. So I rolled it too much because I don't know if I over poured it and I got the sediment from the can. Because I think Yoda had a beer like this where you see like the lumps and stuff.
And
I'm like, I don't know.
Curdled cheese.
Right. And the fact that it's cream cheese style, I was like,
that color is a little off-putting too. I don't know what that
right.
is.
And then even the head is.
What is that color?
Look at
even the head color.
Were you supposed to stop, drop, and roll it?
Yeah, it says on the can.
Or was that just on the can?
It says stop, drop, and roll the can right there.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was trying to get some of the mixture, so because of the
Yeah.
settling to do it. But one, I guess I'm not a fan of key lime. I mean, it was fine, but it is a biting sourness to it to me. And I don't know if that's because it's puree plus whatever the artificial flavors were. I don't know what the artificial flavors were. I mean, it's not a horrible beer if you like sours, because it's good on the top, like when you just sip it. But then you can, I mean, drinking a whole can of it, probably it's like, I don't know, brother.
It probably changed throughout the sip too. Like that first sip don't taste like that last sip.
Does it say on there how to keep? Does it say to keep it cold? Like
it says keep it cold. Yeah, it says
I
keep
think
it cold.
Look like it should have been frozen a little bit.
I feel like it should be rolling consistently. Like you should never stop staring at it. Like every time you should spoon it up.
Look like it got whipped cream on top. Ugh.
Yeah, was that the head on it?
Yeah, so I'm gonna reach out to Rachel Howard, who's the head brewer at Ouzel Ventures, see if that's how it's supposed to look.
Yeah, that's right. I got that beach foam. That beach foam.
Like, is this it? Is this how you supposed to look?
Yeah, that was definitely like 68% head.
Yeah. Oh, it was more when I first. I mean,
you're gonna need a do-over. You're gonna have to get a separate beer. You can't sip that all.
When I got a palate cleanser, I got my synonym from Wilmington Brew Works, so I do have that because I wasn't sure about the sour, especially when key lime and artificial flavors. I'm always like,
key lime and artificial flavors put him out.
Now, what style is that? Wilmington Brew Works you got in your hand, and
it's a pilsner. It's a pilsner.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's safe.
Yeah. I've had it before quite a few times.
Good.
But use guys, I thought I'd try use. I mean, and I know Ouzel Finch is known for their exotic and experimental flavors. So maybe I just need to maybe we just need to bring her on and maybe she can explain herself.
So last but not least, what rating you gonna give that thing?
I'm gonna just have just one.
Oh, you still gonna have one though? You never keep nothing in the cooler, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
it's not totally adverse to your palate. It's
yeah, and I'm not. It could be. I don't know how long. I mean, it didn't have an expiration date on here, so I don't know if it's been sitting there for a minute. I don't think it has been.
When'd you get that?
Last week. I mean,
from last week. Okay.
Monday.
Okay. All right.
In preparation for today.
Okay. All right.
So I do got I think I have a few more that someone can have.
Oh, you ready to give it away? I gave away my sours to Lou last weekend. I gave you 2 cans, didn't I?
I don't know, man. You got a lot of beer. You still got my liquor and everything.
I probably only got your liquor. That's about it.
Everything
else I collected, although I am going to distribute.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you act like that. All that beer,
that is mine.
You collected the beer, but that beer is our beer. That beer is the 4 of ours. We collected that beer.
It's
just sitting next to
I'll give you, just like you said, your liquor. You didn't say our liquor, did you? You said your liquor, right?
Yeah, that's my liquor.
Right.
That bottle is mine.
All right. Well, glad everybody has some great beer. Yeah, right. We got coming in. Y'all talk about this offline about
clean up. We got clean up. We got
y'all embarrassing us.
I'm gonna keep on embarrassing, brother.
Well, without further ado, we went through. Everybody has great beers, but we are excited to know what AirBrewNB is all about and what the adventures in your craft beer journey. So, Elle, once again, welcome to the program. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that applause. It hyped me up a bit. All right, so
yeah.
So I started AirBrewNB about 3 years ago, and it really just stemmed from I was just looking for a way to have more faces like myself, kind of be the face of beer. You know, I feel like most individuals, when they realize how much I loved beer and knew about beer and appreciated beer, they always seem shocked. And I was like, that just seems like we gotta do something about that. So I basically started doing in-person tours and specifically personalized craft beer tours to kind of detract from what most people associate with beer tours, which is kind of like that party bus vibe, right? Nothing wrong with that. But I feel like what happens is most people enjoy the beer, but when you ask them what they drank, they don't remember. Like, and that kind of defeats the purpose of, in my opinion, the fantasticness that is the beer community, especially a local beer community if you're traveling or, you know, visiting the great beer. So I said, how can we slow that down? So I did past tense, right? Very small, like 4 to 6 people. You tell me what kind of beer you like through a questionnaire. And then I take you to 3 or 4 breweries that highlight the styles that you enjoy, and try to introduce people to the beer community and all of its glory, right? We all know that each brewery has a different story, different beers you like to make, different ambiance, and just kind of connecting the right people. So of course, we all know the pandemic happened, and then I was like, all right, so obviously we're not doing in-person tours. All the tap rooms closed, nobody was moving, and so I had to figure out kind of how to transition my small business, and I basically started doing virtual tours. So at the end of the day, right now, I like to say that AirBrewNB is a collection of women who are beer enthusiasts that provide memorable virtual and in-person craft brew ventures. And right now, I'm so grateful to be able to connect with individuals virtually and start talking about some of the stories of beer. For example, we have one experience where we talk about the history of women in beer. I think a lot of individuals don't realize out of the 9,000 years of history, women have been part of the brewing process and sort of dominating the brewing process for the first, I'm gonna go 7,000 solid, like women were the ones making it. And so kind of just talking about, a lot of those really great stories behind that. As well as introducing people to their local backyards. A lot of people don't realize there's a brewery every 10 miles in this country. So a craft brewery, especially. So knowing that a lot of these breweries were going to be suffering because they don't distribute and people need to go get draft beer. They need to know how to handle it and consume. You can't just get a growler with draft beer and take it home and let it sit on the shelf and then drink it. But most people don't realize that because, when you go buy beer, you could just leave it on the shelf and then make it cold when you're ready. So it's really just educating people about the best ways to handle beer, how to experience beer. And my personal journey started when I was much younger. I know it's moisturizer, y'all, but I was my age, y'all. It was a while ago. So I was 17 years old, and I basically was in Germany specifically, and I was over there for a year and a half. And I was just excited to be drinking beer legally because you can drink beer at 16 there. So I was just excited to be like, oh, it's Friday night and I can go to a bar and order a beer, just hang out. That was enough excitement for me around beer. You couldn't drink liquor till you were 18. So that was my introduction to beer. And so I actually fell in love with it. I was literally drinking Kolsch's from Cologne and alt beers from where they originated, and Hefeweizens and all these really great styles. I didn't know I was drinking some of the best beer in the world. I was just, like I said, excited to be young and doing my thing without my parents around. So I came back stateside, and I was at a college party, old enough to drink. And somebody handed me, one of the big threes, and I was like, oh yeah, I like beer. Give me one of those. That sounds great. And then I tasted it and I was like, this is not beer. Why is this beer called beer? But what I'm used to drinking beer is totally different in taste. And that really started my exploration of, how do you take 4 ingredients and it tastes so different? And here we are today.
Yo, not to cut you off, but that's crazy how you started off with the good stuff.
Right.
Because normally it's the other way around.
Yeah. Right. People drink the cheap, like you say, the big three.
Yeah, you
and
get those
end
regulars.
up growing,
And then as a 17-year-old, you drinking beer, the best beer, you have no idea. You have no idea.
You were drinking top shelf. Didn't even know.
Awesome.
Well, I mean,
that's fancy.
That was
four years later. You're like, what is this swill?
Exactly.
Literally.
It's this. Turning your nose up and everything.
Right.
I'm leaving this party.
I wasn't leaving, but I was bringing my own and hiding it. I got really good at hiding my beer.
Right. She was Gordon Ramsay when he messed up the risotto.
This is not right.
So back then, when people were passing you the big three and you were pouring that down the toilet and you were coming back to the party with your own beer, what were you getting?
Oh, at that point, I was getting imports because craft beer movement wasn't really a thing at that point. They had just started kind of coming out with IPAs specifically, and we all know that merged into more of that American IPA flavor, that overwhelming sort of hoppiness, and I wasn't on board with that. I mean, this is the days of Newcastle and New Belgium, where that's craft beer. That was the movement. And so we've come a long way since then. But yeah, I was spending a lot of money on import beers, which I've now learned, sometimes those can be 6 months to a year before they get in my hand. So it's still not even the same, if that makes sense. Because even I noticed that I was like, it's still not the same, but it was closer. And so all these questions, I just in my downtime just kept digging into it, and I was already working in hospitality for a while, so I already kind of had a platform to continue to learn about how to care for beer. And yeah, that's that.
So what ended up being your favorite style of the beers that you've had internationally, or that is now your favorite style now?
Yeah, it's been a journey, literally. Like I started off really enjoying Hefeweizens, and kind of I always say that's like a gateway beer.
Yeah, that's
like
her
start with
gateway.
that one. Yeah, and well, I think because especially when I was younger, it wasn't as filling. You could have several and not just kind of feel kind of bloated. And yeah, I slowly started moving into Belgians and tripels because I think that sweetness, that caramel notes, I was appreciating a little bit more, appreciating more the roasted malts aspect of it. And then I ended up moving into stouts and porters. And then I think I just got so oversaturated with that because they're all similar notes. I'm not saying that it's all the same, but you kind of get coffee, chocolate, like a little bit of that raisiny, and then that's it. You're like, okay, I've had all those flavors, and I just kind of was always in search of the next and the new. And the last 5 years have been like crazy for the next and the new. As Rob, you're drinking a cheesecake. So if somebody would have said that 10 years ago, like,
that's not beer.
Right.
Like,
What are you doing?
It's not even beer.
Exactly. So, I'll say sours and IPAs are kind of my last, like, that it took me the longest to get on board with those. And I think it's just because of that experience over here. Like, it's a bit overwhelming. But right now in this moment, you give me a lager, give me a Pilsner, give me a Marzen. Like I just want that solid, good quality, like you can't hide your flaws beer.
Right. I was drinking a Marzen last night.
Right. 'Tis the season, as they say.
There it is. Yeah, that is true about sours, because this one does hit you like,
They do that.
So about I know you said that you kind of switched over to like virtual in terms of, because Texas never really closed. Like, have you started? I know Austin actually kind of did, because Austin is like San Francisco and
exactly, and like kind of until
it's like Philadelphia and Pennsylvania.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. So it's been interesting, meaning, before Delta, we were trying to do some like kind of rooftop corporate events, like trying to get back and doing it in person a little bit and kind of easing our way in. But with everything that's just been happening the last couple of weeks, I think we're going to be leaning on virtual for a little bit. Because for me personally, most of the women that choose to work with me, they are doing this for a little part-time work. They got like with kids, you know what I mean? There's extra people involved at that risk that we're just kind of going, it's not worth it for me personally, but I get it. People are wanting to move, and I get it. Believe me, I just for me being in because my business is wrapped around people, especially coming in from out of town specifically, and then getting in a car with me, and then going to a brewery and drinking a couple beers and all of that. We all know you get with your friends, start having one or two, and that mask all of a sudden is like over in the corner. So I think for a bit we're just gonna continue to do virtual, but it has been such an experience because we started off, as I said, with honestly just kind of like one course that was it was way too long, but people loved it. I mean, it covered everything from like beer pairings to how to order beer to like the history of beer, and it was a blast. But we all have a bit of Zoom fatigue at this point, so I kept cutting them shorter and shorter, and now I'm down to like 3 separate, but I'm trying to get a 4th one out there because I really enjoy pairing beer and food. And I wish that beer was talked about in the same vein as wine when it comes to complexity of flavors and being able to do fun things with food and beer pairings. And so, that's been my kind of that, and just continue to dig into the history, because there's not much, but when you continue to talk to individuals who are like masters of their craft, like PhDs in history level, you just start digging some stuff that you realize that beer has been a part of human history. Like, period. Like, and that's such a fascinating story. Like, knowing once again, like these 4 ingredients are things that humans have been consuming in social environments for thousands of years. Like, this continues to bring us together to this day. Like,
There's another thing that's Here's another thing that's really dope about beer. Like, when the journey for beer for most people started, everybody was just happy and cool with just cracking the can, right? And, drinking right from the can. It wasn't about the appearance of it. It wasn't what it smelled like. We weren't doing any of that with beer. And it just triggered when you held your glass up and you were, talking and drinking of it. Now it's like that must of like, you got to have the glassware. It's a package deal now. You dare not even pour it into like a cup that you can't see the characteristics in the beer of it. Is that incorporated in kind of what you do and what you kind of
absolutely
move around?
Because as I stated, my mission really is to promote inclusivity within craft beer and also to bring people who feel like kind of outsider about it, because like there's all this language that we use in the industry and all these fancy cups, and like we're starting to build a culture around craft beer, but I feel like that translation of bringing more people in, and I said it as hard seltzers are coming in and taking our numbers, we still got craft beer in comparison to, like, as I said, the Three Kings is still nothing. Like, we still only have a very small fraction of individuals who enjoy what we do. And in order for me, I think, to continue, so I enjoy making it. I'm not very good at it. So in order for me to continue to ensure that I can go to the store and have great options when it comes to craft beer, I got to get more people into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's selfish. I'm kidding. It's not that.
That's right.
That was honest. That was honest. That was
want people to think and drink and parlay like me.
You know what's funny? That Devin mentioned that, but sometimes I think, like he was saying with the glassware, and then you were saying like even you'll show the glass and all that. But is that a reason that kind of pushes Black people away from it? It kind of seems to.
No, I think it's rooms full of white people personally. But next, that's
what pushes Black people away. Room full of white people.
Well, this is me going. I
don't got nothing in common with them.
And I'm just saying, like, there's a difference in how you feel comfortable in spaces, and that's another part of the conversation that I really appreciate that's happening in craft beer right now. We got Dr. J out here talking about, like, if y'all really want to make this quote unquote inclusive, what does that mean? You know what I mean? How are you going to make people feel comfortable with coming into your space? And I think some of that is also language. I mean, talk about some of these beer names that we got out here. Like, I think there are several things that are kind of keeping various groups from being like, oh, that seems interesting. Whether it happens to be the complexity of our language, whether it happens to be the fact that there are just so many IPAs, and that seems to be the overwhelming beer. And there's so many more beers out there, but most people still think of IPAs as kind of craft beer. That's it. And there's so much more to that story. So I think there are several reasons why, the Black community hasn't lynched on, but I think that the storytelling has been really great. And what I do appreciate is now I have great beer options that I can bring to some of my Black folks and be like, no, really try this. Like, no, really, this is delicious. Like, and I like having that option. I didn't used to have that. I used to have to just verbally talk about the beer in Germany. I swear it's better. I promise.
Anybody can say that.
But that is definitely true about beer styles, because I know when I go into the store, I feel like Indiana Jones searching for the non-IPA. That ain't it.
That's not, No, and the IPA cans be looking so nice.
Oh man, you want to drink them every day? They all smell delicious, don't they, Yoda? Every single one of them.
I mean, I like IPAs, but sometimes I want a brown ale, or I want English style bitter, or something different.
Why can't the graphic designer be on the brown ale can?
Why
can't the graphic designer, why can't they be on that bottle?
They probably are. They just don't make that style. Because
I'm talking about the designer, the graphic designer that's making the can art. It seems like the can art, like Yoda said, for the IPAs is always popping and making you want to grab or gravitate to that. Like, give me a sour or a brown ale or a porter that looks as appealing through the can as the IPAs. I wonder why they do. Why are we pushing IPAs like this?
I think it's just because it's
propaganda.
People love IPAs in America. People, I mean,
it's good though.
I mean, yeah.
That's all I can tell you. Same way you love the sour. It's damn good.
It's not
good. But going back to the AirBrewNB experience, like, how does that work? Because I know you said you do private ones as well. Like, is it like a checklist that you be like, well, what type of beers you like, and then is that how you kind of curate the experience?
Yeah. So no, I really just have three major experiences, and then individuals kind of choose from there. So I got one that's called Discover the History of Women in Beer. And we kind of outline that, right? Like going back and hearing the lists and myths and legends, that 7% catching up, of beer stories. And then the second one I like to do is basically the guide to American craft beer, where I basically teach people, you know, what are the 4 ingredients and how they can vastly change how beer tastes. Introducing like what actually is beer, what's the difference between craft beer and just beer, and then highlighting, as I said, how to order at a brewery, because we all know you go to some beer boards, and especially the ones like in Chalk, it's just all over the place. You don't know the difference between the style name, the name of the beer, the brewery where it came from, or any of the maybe tasting notes they're talking about. And people get a little intimidated, I think. Like they get up there and they're just like, I'll have a beer, like. And I'm trying to go like, we're super simple, right? You can literally walk up to a brewery and be like, hey, I really like red wine. What do you recommend? And I don't think people realize that, because a lot of the other libation industries, you know, they kind of have that expected knowledge that you should know before you get there. And in beer, we're just excited you're here. Like, we're just like,
right. Come in, drink, be merry.
Like, yeah.
It's happy hour.
But I think you kind of have to just let people know that and kind of educate around that, and saying like, no, at the end of the day, it's just enjoy yourself. Like, have a good time. Like, that's all beer folks are about, is, you know, coming to the table with great conversation, great beer, and just being yourself.
Is there any other thing on the questionnaire besides just the 3 experiences that you can pick from? Or is it just...
So that questionnaire thing is really for the in-person tours, when we kind of offer that. Because we literally would ask you things like, well, if you don't like dogs, we're not going to take you to a brewery that's dog friendly. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like I have some real basic questions that I can kind of figure out how you're going to have a good time.
That is important, because sometimes you're like, do you like kids? No, I don't like kids. There are no kids.
Exactly. Right.
I don't want kids around my liquor.
Right. I'm trying to break away from home. That might trigger something in me.
That would be crazy. They would be go nuts.
I'm so excited about the fact that we're getting more black-owned breweries, like just in the United States, period. Yeah. Like, we're about to get one here in Austin. I'm super excited. Urban Jungle. And so I really,
homie Shannon, he was on here.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And you know, like, connecting with you guys, like, I love my black beer community. Like, you guys are just some phenomenal folks out here doing amazing things. Miss Jen Price, always out here doing things. Like, it makes it easy, because, you know, I jokingly said, you know, it's all those white folks in these spaces, but that's a joke. And I say that meaning, but sometimes it is nice just to see folks that look like you in the spaces that you love. Like, that's always just a bonus. Like, I'm gonna go drink craft beer no matter what. Like, that's just happening because that's what I enjoy.
But see, that's the difference. Like, you, I would say Rob, maybe even Devin, some maybe Yoda too. Like, y'all just love the craft beer. Y'all are gonna find the beer that y'all want. It don't matter if you're the only black person in the room. There's other people that need those people in the room with them, or somebody. At least I walk in by myself, or I walk in with my friend, and I see another black couple over there, and I can just cheers them. You know what I mean? Like, that safe cookout style feeling is needed from some black people. I think that's what it. I don't know. That's what it is. Like, I'd never been into a brewery by myself until I got into the podcast. So,
and see, for me, drinking beer out of a can or a bottle is a nice experience, but there's nothing like draft beer. Like, it's like fresh bread. Right. It's like y'all.
So, beer was nasty until I started this podcast. Like, I was like you in your first day in college. I was like, yeah, beer, this sucks. It's nasty. But y'all, these 3 got me on it.
So, Lou, since you said that, when you have been in breweries now by yourself, and you see you the only black guy, does that affect you?
Yeah. What comes?
Not anymore, because I know about the beer. I know what I want. I'm not ignorant in there. Like, I would, going into a brewery before the podcast, or before I was interested in craft beer, I didn't know anything. So I didn't even know what to, like, even Elle, you said earlier, you go to the beer, you ask the beer tender, hey, I like red wine, give me a beer. Like, I wouldn't even know to be like, hey, I like Kool-Aid, find me a beer. I wouldn't even know to say that to someone. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm trying to do. Is trying to get more people who feel like that's the break between them trying craft beer and not. I want to narrow that. Like, I want to be like, no.
And it's so easy. Like, that little thing right there gets somebody at the brewery. Whereas if they don't know that little bit of information, they're not able to go in there by themselves or with one or 2 other people. They're not interested.
Now, the question I had, and I guess when I first saw the name AirBrewNB, I literally thought like vacations, like when the world opens back up for good, is that part of the plan in terms of adding like beer vacations to the whole experience as well?
Is it only just Texas? Will it be just Texas or all around the country and world?
I'm up, Shaq.
She's a worldly.
Yeah, she's shaking. You see shaking her shoulders.
Look at you, it's from Germany.
Thinking like a Polaroid bitch.
Her beer life started in Germany.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. My bad, guys. She's worldwide.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. All of those things was kind of that was on purpose when I was thinking of, and then keep in mind I had some really great people around me helping think of this name, but I did not come up with it on my own. I will give that out loud. But yeah, that's absolutely the way that I wanted things to go. Is we would start off doing these personalized tours, and then we would do sort of weekend kind of, because we have a lot of great breweries. We talked about there's about 45 breweries and over like 60 craft beer establishments. So like they serve food, but like beer is their thing, if that makes sense. Or like they focus on, they have like a craft beer program that's so phenomenal. So there's so many options in Austin, but our hill country and like even up San Antonio, like right, Ruthered Souls, there's some really great beer that is out in some fantastic like destination breweries that I would love to hit up and be like, yeah, let's go for a weekend. Like come through Austin, we'll pick you up, we'll take you out to, you can stay, we'll have somebody come in and make some food. Like I got dreams here. So we'll see what happens.
I like it.
Yeah, I feel like people would pay for that awesome experience. And keep in mind, this is all based off just things that I would love. Like, I travel a lot. And if somebody were like, yes, I know beer. Yes, I love beer. Let me take you to the spots that are like, quote unquote, worth it. And I'd pay $50 for that, like, and have a great time. So that's the goal, but we'll see. Like,
I have a question for you.
Representative should be in every state.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, or every county. The county is you need a county lady. And when you switch to virtual, and I remember you saying that you wanted to be influential with the local breweries around. How does the virtual, like if the four of us were to we all live in Delaware, how would the virtual aspect of your AirBrewNB help Austin breweries, or would it help Delaware breweries? Will we be going?
You got it, because that's the point, right? Is to help your local beer community, because you want to be able to go out and have really great options when you drink beer. So that for me was part of that. Was I give a link to all the breweries that are registered with the Craft Brewer Association. So at least you can see like what's in your backyard, like what's super close to you. Like, so go there, click on the website, order some beer to go. And I promote that. I'm like, I get it. Not everybody feels comfortable, being out. Not everybody, some people do. Go pick up some beer to go and have it in your fridge ready for this tour. And then we talk about it. And then keep in mind, traditional beer styles should all have similar taste. And with my studies, I can pull out those and be like, oh, well, you're having a Tripel Belgian beer. You're probably going to have these caramel notes. And we talk about that. And people are like, how'd you know? And I'm like, oh, it's just it's a flavor experience, right? And we go through how to taste beer like a beer judge. So we talk about that concept of evaluating beer versus just socially drinking beer. So I'm kind of trying to open up that, like, see, there's so many different, colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, I got a lot of ideas.
You might have picked up an IPA, but then you're like, oh, somebody else is drinking a, ESB or a cream ale. Like, what's that all about? Like, tell me a little bit about, so you start hearing more about beer styles. And the idea is, once again, a sense of community. Where I'm just trying to build a sense of community around beer.
This is like a book club for beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
So people get excited and they're like, ooh, where'd you get that? And especially with some of the beers, because a lot of people do pick up mass-produced beers. So something wrong with that, right? Like, so they're like, ooh, I can just go get that. And especially with all my travels, I can even recommend, like, oh, are you in Atlanta? You got to go check out, this spot and this spot. And just trying to get people, once again, like, go check out the things in your backyard. And then when we get the chance to travel again, you get to experience, like for me, whenever I travel, that's the first place I go is sometimes breweries, because they'll tell you where to go eat. Like they know they know the good food. Like
right. Because the bar hosts and stuff, they know the town. Like they're out. Same thing I did, similar story that when I was in Vegas. Obviously you're on the strip, and certain beers are at your immediate disposal. But I'm like, nah, like I want to get off the strip. And I want to, venture where there's good food, good beer, or whatever. Like, where do you go when you're not working? That's like what I, started asking those bartenders, and they're like, yeah, you need to get off of this strip. You need to go like 10 minutes to, like it's
To
not
the hash
quite in the
house.
hood, or
Yeah,
it's
10
off
minutes to the hash
already.
house.
Exactly.
Well,
Like
when you're talking about Vegas, in terms of Vegas, I think they are starting to try to get more like Asheville. So I think they're trying to make a craft beer like destination. I read an article where Asheville is trying to stop breweries because they're like, all right, we got enough. It's enough now.
Really?
I think
Wow.
Las Vegas is trying to go the opposite way where they'll
welcome
I think they said in Asheville a business closes and a craft brewery comes in right next to it. I think that's opening and closing. So they're trying to cut down on the breweries, but Las Vegas is trying to get
breweries.
Right. So they're trying to get more like that in Vegas in terms of having that same type of establishment. So we'll see how that goes. I had a question. I forgot what it was. Oh, in terms of your travels, outside of Texas or whatever. So if you were to recommend a brewery somewhere, it doesn't matter where it is outside of Texas, like what would be the one that you say, you know what, you definitely got to go there?
Well, I'm going to just say, I can't even say one brewery. I'd say beer meccas. I like, so before we all had to kind of shelter in place, my beer meccas, Boston's up there, San Diego's up there, Chicago's phenomenal. Like there are just some places like Denver that you can just kind of go and there's enough great beer in one spot.
Yeah.
But if like out the gate, like right now, I just got back from New Orleans, so they've been on my mind because it was close enough to drive. So I drove out there 8 hours and just honestly had some phenomenal beer at this place called Brew Carry. I always say it wrong because it's a pun on Brew Carry, the cocktail. I always say that wrong too. So anyway, and there's Parlow Brewing Lab, and they're always just doing some fun. They're always elevating beer in Louisiana, which is
awesome.
Not that hard, but I didn't say it. Anyway,
you answered it.
Yeah, that's been on my mind is New Orleans beer because I feel like they're kind of up and coming with just awesome craft beer options. But even
the homies Cajun Fire out there.
Cajun Fire.
Yeah.
Cajun Fire.
In that same vein
Cajun
that Rob, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I got excited.
In that same vein of Rob asking that question, has anyone from the virtual tours gotten a beer from a brewery or someplace from their local area that caught your eye that you're like, when it's open up, I'm going there? And what was it?
Oh, for sure. Just like we're having this conversation, I'm all like Secret Machine. Like I've been taking notes. And I basically go and like after the tour, I go and look at those breweries and kind of see what they're doing because since I can't travel anymore, it's a great way for me to keep a pulse on what's happening in the industry and like what are the next kind of beers coming up. So it's as much fun for me as it is for
you get a benefit out of it as well. Yeah, and you get some money.
Yeah. I think one thing that you might want to do is like on social media, go look for like different distributors because they'll tell you what's popping like in the areas, like what's new out and it's not just one set brewery. It'll just tell you like different.
What's the bull's name? The bull that take the flights. Always the window seat.
Scott.
No, window seat. Will you talking
about
beer
discovery? She need to be on beer discovery. They need to.
Bill Discovery.
Yeah,
it's like an app that finds out where beer and beer fest are
can releases are.
Thank you very much.
Beer
discovery. I wrote that down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Window seat Will. That's what his name is. What's up? What's up, Will?
Yeah, Window seat Will from well, he used to be Equilibrium, but now he's down in Florida.
Oh yeah, right.
Orlando's got a great scene. Was he in the Orlando area or like that's?
No, I think he was like Tripping Animals, and he was in that. So I guess that's like Miami area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah.
It all over the place. She look up at the sky.
Seriously. I miss some of being able to go and just to see some of these folks that I adore and some of the great beer they make.
So how many breweries just off the top of your head do you think you have been to?
That's what I was going to.
So that's so funny, right? Because everybody's like, do you have, what's the app that everybody puts all their beer on?
Untapped.
Yeah, so like, what's your Untapped? I was like, I have had too many beers for that. It feels like homework every time. I stopped keeping track of it. But right. I mean, if I were to say, I would say thousands, but that's just because of the time I've been drinking too, which once again, I'm not going to give you all that number, but.
Well, we know you ain't 17 no more, so.
Right.
So yeah.
Could have been 17 like 2 years ago, though.
But this is my mother joke. She's just like, everything is just so around beer. And I'm like, yeah, it's been that way for years. Like they ended up getting me this set for Christmas. Like my Christmas is like beer books and like, yeah.
That's what parents do. My mom does the same thing. She'll text right before the podcast and she'll be like, "You got the podcast today?" Yeah, every Sunday, Mom. Right. And then if she's
hi, Mom, by the way.
Right, hey, Mom. Yeah, and then like when they're at a ballpark, because my stepdad plays senior softball, and they're around, white guys and stuff, and they're drinking beer in the parking lot. She's like, then she starts trying to judge them. Oh, y'all need to drink the kind of stuff that my son drank. Y'all drinking the wrong stuff, Devin. And then she get me on FaceTime. I'd be like, Mom, don't embarrass these people. Let them drink what they drink.
Right.
So it's almost like, people, that are close to you. 1 minute it's just like, oh, you drinking that beer stuff again. But then when they get on the ride with you, they're on full throttle.
Plus, on top of it, I always laugh. So my uncle came to visit, and it's Texas, so they drink some beer down here, so especially in East Texas. So he came up here trying to keep up. He said, "I hear you like beer." I was like, "Yeah, I do." He says, "We should go drinking." I'm like, "All right." So we roll up, and he's like, "What do you like to drink?" And I came out with a Belgian triple, like 9%.
Let's hit it.
And he was like, "This is delicious." And so he goes 3 deep, and he's like, "Ooh.
Like room is spinning, can't stand up."
3 deep, he holding on to the wall.
Like, you should have helped him out and told him after the one, like,
well,
"Hey,
this is me. I'm used to like 18 beers. Like that's not, you know what I mean? Like that's
right. You thought he was
drinking 4%. He drinking 4% on the low."
Exactly,
Elle, you should have. Elle, you kind of set him up though. You should have knew that he wasn't ready for that 9%.
Did I though? Like
he did challenge you though. He did
drinking that water and that.
He said, "You want to go out drinking?" He said, "Yeah, let's go out drinking."
I'm like, Uncle, I've seen you on Sundays, just take down like 18, 20 beers, watching football all day long. So I didn't think much of it. I thought 3 beers will be fine. That's fine.
Your uncle was hydrating. He was drinking water on them Sundays.
He was drinking water for a long time. And literally pissing it out.
I know the bad.
Go get another.
Now I know we are the Legendary Brew Crew, but you also have the Lady Brew Crew. So what is the LBC?
Yeah, the LBC is basically, I have been very lucky to have been put in front of some really fantastic women who know a lot about beer. Some of them do more than me, have certifications, have worked for distributors, and yeah, they basically we all stand each other up, if you get what I'm saying. Like I'm sure in the same way that you guys do, right? You guys meet up every Sunday, but we basically, they wanted to join me in kind of continuing to start this narrative that women and just know as much about beer as quote unquote the men do, quote unquote. And I say that it's not a competition. That's not what this is about. It's really just it's really just about in the same vein, and I have to say this out loud, in the same vein that it is difficult to walk into a space and everybody doesn't look like you. It's the same thing works with being in a space that's mostly males. Like it's a different vibe sometimes. That makes sense. And so it's real nice sometimes to be able to be like, oh, it's ladies' night. You know what I mean? Like we're all going to go out for beers, and if there's 6 of us just hanging out, drinking really great beer, and kind of just connecting in that way. So. That's really all the Lady Brew Crew is women who have decided to continue to do these tours with me, and we just get together, and most of them have their own aspirations when it comes to what their beer journey is going to be, what their beer career is going to be. And this is just one milestone, one way of them to be able to promote their brand, to be able to get a little money for the knowledge that they have, and to be, gain a little bit more respect in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's
nice. As you're talking about them, the thought came to mind. We got to do an episode. The Legendary Brew Crew and the Lady Brew Crew. It has to happen.
Not no verses. We're not.
We can make it in no verses.
They gonna put that verses if it's about beer.
We gotta be. It gotta be about a black man. We can only win it if it's being about being a black man.
Yeah, I think we can make it work. We can.
Definitely. For sure. There's a group of black women in Atlanta. I forget the name.
Connect.
The
Women Connect.
Craft Beer Connect.
They just put out LA too.
Yeah,
they're out there too.
Okay.
They're a great group of phenomenal group of women.
Yeah, you already know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she said she ain't new to this. She true to this.
Right. I know some stuff. I'm gonna take notes, but it's some things I know.
Yeah, all right.
Some things
So
I know.
sidebar, guys. The end of this green machine is kind of chewy. It's sediment at the bottom of this as well.
You mean cigarette machine, not a green machine? That's something else.
What I say? I said green machine.
Yeah.
Did I?
He said green machine.
All right, my bad. I meant secret machine. It's sediment down. I'm chewing about the end of it.
Yeah, see, you might have poured too hard. You got the rest of
I should have rolled it a little bit better.
See that?
So Elle, with you being more stationary and AirBrewNB being, I would say, in the virtual realm right now, for us, just sharing, just giving an example, for us, we started to, be outside a little bit more, kind of in the July, August, and most recent, we just came back from our journey to Pittsburgh in, early last weekend in September. What is the beer fest scene looking like in Texas? Has that kind of just been continuous? Has it been ongoing, or are there any that you're looking forward to going to before the end of the year?
Yeah. So we just had Lagerfest in Austin, which
That's amazing.
Lagerfest.
That sounds amazing.
It is, yeah.
It's already happened.
Only lagers?
It already happened. Yes, correct. A lot of breweries they literally will make a lager, and it's a loose competition. There's no,
everybody's bringing out their finest. It's like everybody bringing out their cars. Everybody bringing out their lagers.
Only lager.
You got it. Yeah. And there's a coffee shop / like beer joint. Like they serve coffee and craft beer. And so they have 22 taps. And so they have like a good 10, 15 that are just lagers for Lagerfest, and everything usually blows. But that's the thing for me is
coffee.
It's an interesting concept too, Luke.
Yeah,
I know where you're going. You're like beer and coffee.
Well, there's one in Jersey.
It's one in Jersey.
Yep. Something with that coffee and
beer.
But
I would think like they would be a lot of stouts, and this year like they got 25 taps just devoted to lagers.
Well, for the lager.
Exactly. Oh, okay. It's just for
for Lagerfest.
So they have 25 taps total, and then like 10 of them were just for the Lagerfest.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Are they mostly like stouts?
No, that's the big thing is so the diversity in Austin beer is phenomenal. Like I just love how many variants that we have and varieties that we have. Just like I said, that coffee shop brewery, you can walk in and there's going to be an ESB. There's probably going to be a cream ale. Of course, there's going to be a couple of IPAs of various styles. We got some. One of my favorites right now is it's like a jalapeno lager, which is so nice, right? Like it's
right.
They always have a nice variety, and in that same shopping area, there are two breweries. So we have wonderful options when it comes to the styles, at least. So you asked about the festivals. They're pretty much back on.
Are you any of them that you're anticipating going to when you're ready to be back out at it, or that you will even showcase AirBrewNB, like to say, look, hey, this is a movement, this is a brand, any that you're looking to sign up for or be a part of?
She says, "In 2024 yet?"
I'm sorry, y'all, but it's
everybody's,
and you're allowed to. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that everybody's allowed to. So here's what happens for me personally: is I'm just going off of our hospital bed numbers. Like I'm like, if we got hospital beds in case something happens to me, that's how I'm making the decision. So right now we're not doing great. Right now,
they don't have one for me. All they got for me is something, that toe tag. They might got enough spots down there, but they got to play in the hall.
At the end,
they got to play in the hall. They don't got an actual bed for you though. Some linen.
That's how I'm handling it. But we also, it's a different vibe here too. Like Austin's very touristy. Like we got football games going on, you see, like there's just a lot of movement that's just happening. So although the festivals are happening and people are showing up, and that's fantastic for the breweries, and I'm very happy for them. I don't see myself really participating for another 6 months or so, just to try to figure out what's happening. Just to wait, because it's my community, it's my medical staff. You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of friends that work in these hospitals. Like
so they know, and you hearing the stories firsthand. You're just like, y'all drinking y'all beers and y'all talking about it, like just.
But
stay inside.
That I could still do this, if that makes any sense. Like there are still ways that I'm able to promote my business and connect with people, and I'm just grateful for that. Like to be completely honest, and I want beer to be produced, so whatever it takes. Meaning,
Yeah.
you know, as long as
The
people keep
virtual
showing
lane
up.
isn't. I mean, it isn't going away. It's going to do nothing but grow anyway. So anything that is a part of your business is going to have that virtual component. It just has to be.
Now I'm international. Anybody who speaks English can connect with me, and that's amazing.
Yes.
Like I'm meeting people in, you know, Switzerland. They don't have to come to me anymore. Like I've expanded the individuals who might have access to just getting to know more about beer culture, whether it be, you know, like I said, U.S. culture or otherwise. So I see it as, like you stated, it's options. It's all options, and whatever works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we was out when we was out. It was weird because I didn't feel like I wasn't uncomfortable as I thought I was gonna be. I wasn't really uncomfortable, and probably because they made me feel comfortable being outside amongst people because they had the COVID test there.
Yeah, I think that was
everybody had to actually show their card.
Like you just felt like everybody inside
were responsible.
Yeah, they were negative.
Right.
Like you just felt that way.
Yeah. Rapid test was there. Your negative test was required. You know,
I seen somebody take a rapid test and have to leave. Like get out of here and go home, bro.
You got that temperature. You got
like go home. Get out of here.
Oh, really? You saw that?
Yeah, I was sitting there talking to somebody at the entrance, and I seen
man. Yeah, see, that's what I like. I think that's what made me feel a little comfortable is that they weren't playing. Like you're not getting up in here unless you pass this COVID test or if you got your vax card. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
with ID.
Now, in your bio, I think it was in your bio. You mentioned something about being a part of it or being a member of a co-op brewery. What exactly is a co-op brewery?
Oh yeah, so co-op is basically it's owned by the community, like the people who live there, just like a co-op grocery store.
Grocery store. Yep.
So the brewery is owned by people in the community, and you can buy into it. And then they have, you know, like board meetings, just like any other business, and you can take decisions about what they do. For me, I go pack out. So I also I was just excited because like my journey of wanting to learn about beer is literally the entire, like all 20 sides of that die, as they say. Like I want to know how the business works. I want to know how the science works. I want to know how the art works. Like for me, I'm just so interested in everything. So it was a way for me to get into the insides of brewery ownership without having to start a brewery.
Yeah, right. Awesome.
That sounds dope.
Now, how'd you even, you know, get acquainted with that? Or
I'm lucky it's right down the street from my house. It's literally less than 10 minutes away. So
I thought you might, one of your girlfriends in your circle or somebody, you know.
It was just right outside. It was right outside. That's it.
She said, "I'll be there later."
Yeah, just go outside. That's on the street.
She be like, "Yo, I'm part owner of this."
Right, I'm the Green Bay Packers out here. I have a question. Most people that study abroad go abroad in college or after college. How did you get to study abroad in high school? Unless you don't feel like answering that. That's unique.
Thanks for asking. I was, we didn't have a lot of money, real talk. So I was always looking for scholarships, and this just happened to be a scholarship that was, you want to go to Germany for.
So it was high school class. You went to high school in Germany?
Yeah.
Did you know German? No. Do you know German? You don't speak any? For a year and a half? For a year and a half? How long before you understood? Never mind.
So it was really interesting. They sent you to a language boot camp first. Okay. So there were 6 weeks of language boot camp, which was one of the hardest things I've ever done because they just don't speak English to you for 6 weeks until you figure it out. Like exactly the immersion.
Wow.
And then after that, I went to high school, and I was a senior in high school in Germany taking physics and
right. Still looking around.
Drinking beer.
I need to know.
Right. She was like, I don't know if it's because I don't understand physics or this language.
Physics.
But the beer's good. The beer's really good.
That's funny.
So I did not pass that class, shocker. But
you didn't need it. But you didn't need it. You didn't even need that class. That's fine. Yeah. You got your diploma. Walk across that stage.
But you would be surprised how a lot of the other courses, some of the stuff correlated. Like it was I took English, which was funny because they were, it was like junior level English or like,
Right.
Anyway, but like biology was similar. It was a challenge, but it like once again, I think set me up for success in the rest of my life with how do you deal with hurdles.
Yeah.
Right.
And what do you do when everything changes?
Yeah.
And I think it's helped me even to this day, like even with, navigating the small business during a pandemic, like how do I continue to be malleable and valuable?
Yeah.
Now, you're originally from Austin, or are you from someone? Are you originally from Texas?
Family's from Chicago. Family's from Chicago, and don't start. But yes, because everybody in Chicago is like, why, how, and when. But
that's fine. They rivals. Look. We live in Delaware. We're close to Philadelphia. It's a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans around here for some strange reason. So I understand, like, it's weird, but I get it.
Normal. Strange, normal. Differences, different.
Strange. It's not normal, man. It's not normal. It's not normal.
Differences of people.
It's very strange. It's very strange. Yeah. But yeah, I get it. Fandom doesn't matter, man. As long as if you like a team and you like a sport, who cares who you like? Just like it.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, it started off in Chicago. A family went up there doing the Great Migration, from Mississippi on up there. And then my family moved back down to Texas when I was 10. So I've been in Texas most of my life.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. All right. Cool. That's what's up. I had another question, but it failed me now.
It failed him.
That brain, boy.
It must be the sour. It's
oh man, blame it on alcohol.
I think it's just the pucker. I think
that backup might recharge you. You need to crack that other can.
Yeah, but now I forgot to bring another glass, and now I don't drink out of the can anymore.
Right. And I don't drink out of dirty glasses.
You got a whole shelf. You mean to tell me you don't have any good, clean, pour glasses back there?
Not down here in the cave, no.
Okay, I'm just
all right. Is there any other questions that you have for Elle?
No, I think what you created is just amazing. I just want to give you your flowers. Yeah. It's definitely something that if we just being Delaware and you being Texas, if there's something that we can, promote or just take part in the support, that's what we use this platform for. So we're excited about everybody and everything that's black and brew, and it's just a part of beer.
I'm so excited to meet you, gentlemen. Like I said, being a part of this, I'm going to say movement, you know what I mean? It's just something that brings me such joy to be able to bring my identity with my passion, if that makes sense. Like that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Perfectly said.
I know my question was, it was about the Cicerone program, because I think you were saying you were working to do the Cicerone thing. Like, did you do stage 1, or are you working on stage 5 or 4?
So I started. Anyone who doesn't know, like the Cicerone is really like the L side of beers. Like it gets more challenging the higher you kind of go up. And so I took the level 1, just no study, just like out the gate, and I got like a 65, where you have to get 70 to pass. And so I said, okay, I got this. I'm just gonna start studying for level 2 out the gate. And usually they recommend about a year and a half of study for that. So I started sitting with various individuals who were studying for it and taking notes after they took the test and kind of figuring out. And fingers crossed, I will sit for the written by the end of the year. And then there's the blind tasting portion, which that part out.
And what level? What's the name of that level? So
that's level 2.
Level 2.
Right. That's just when you actually that's when you be called a Cicerone.
That's what I was about to say. What's the name of the
because the first one's just beer server, and the second one is the one that I feel like is the real meat, where you start getting into the fun stuff. And then we'll see if level 3 is something that I need, and I say that in quotations, meaning that's really a level of professional, like in the industry, that I'm not sure if I'll be moving that direction or not. Because what I love is beer tourism before everything was happening was starting to catch. Like it was really starting to become a thing, and there were even associations out there starting just for beer tourism. So knowing that I'm not going to be brewing beer, but mine is more around introducing people to beer and building experiences around beer. At level 3 may not be for me.
How educated do you want your other tour ladies to be?
I keep the bar pretty low because most people's beer knowledge is pretty low. And most people who are beer enthusiasts already have a pretty decent knowledge, just from doing research online. So I usually just start asking questions, you know what I mean? Like, and then keep in mind, a lot of the virtual stuff that we do is, it's the content's the same. So you can learn some of this, if that makes sense. Everybody starts with here. That's my other half, is helping minority groups become that are passionate about it reach their goals. So like maybe you want to start brewing beer, and this is going to help you put something on your resume that's beer related, so that you can actually get into a brewery's door. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that entry level is not the problem. Like, you don't have to come in as an expert, but most people that I've worked with so far have had some level of, hospitality and or certifications that have made it easy. But if anybody out there is interested, like I said, I'm always interested in bringing in more minority groups who are interested in doing this, but we focus on mostly ladies, and the only reason behind that is because when I was doing in-person tours, it was interesting hearing how that was what people were most excited about, was feeling comfortable being able to drink around people they felt safe around. And I was like, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. I wasn't something that I was like, oh, we're going to be mostly female-led. But whenever I had a gentleman friend of mine just kind of help out if I had to, travel or just something came up. And people are like, oh, I don't know if I feel safe, drinking in front of a stranger. Like 3 girls get in a car with a stranger man. And I was like, I don't know the difference between that and a female, but if it's your comfort level, it's your comfort level. Yeah. And so that just kind of became the business. So any females or anybody who identifies as a female who's interested in, connecting, feel free to reach out. I'd love to.
And it doesn't matter, since you're virtual, they don't have to be in the Austin area, do they?
Not at all. We've actually gone somewhat international. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we have someone from Canada who's interested in coming on board. And we honestly were even about to move out to Boston before the pandemic happened with in-person tours. Because my goal was to be able to be at a couple beer meccas and be able to offer this service.
Nice.
I love it.
Right. So, I mean, 2024, I see big things. I think by 2024 we should be good. I hope 2023. Right.
We thought it was going to be good by now.
Right.
Yeah, we was almost there. Almost.
Horseshoes and grenades.
I would like to ask you guys, like, because I always joke. I'm like, how many beer fridges do y'all have? Like. And I joke, meaning, I have my regular fridge, and then I have my beer fridge. Yeah. But then I have my specialty beer fridge, meaning because if friends come over, I always want to be like, oh yeah, just go in the fridge and grab what you want.
You're like, go in that fridge. Don't go in that fridge. Go in that fridge.
The fridge got a code on it. You got to put it in. Right.
The code, the fridge with the keypad, that's not your fridge. That has nothing in there you want.
That's a 17% barley wine. I didn't say that.
How did you get in my fridge? Who gave you the code?
They come out the fridge with something like, this tastes weird. I'm like, you just opened a vertical. Like,
oh my God, you have no idea what you're drinking. That is not even that is above your palate threshold. You don't have any idea. I guess I'll go first. I guess everybody's story is kind of different, but I started out just in the fridge. I just took over kind of like the top shelf of the fridge, and just by just sheer frustration, my wife for my birthday bought it and was like, you need to get out of the fridge because, groceries have to go in here. And so migrated to that. But to your point, I will say, like, we have a Christmas party every year, and I do buy that kind of, I don't buy and put out the craft beer at the Christmas party simply because the people that are drinking or that are coming to our Christmas party, they don't drink all of it. Now, Rob and I, he'll come with his travel cooler, with the insulation in there, and me and him will kind of, segregate ourselves in the kitchen in the little corner. And he's like, yo, you on board this? And I'm like, yeah. Like, so we do it. But for everybody else, you guys are drinking, a very, a top, just a regular, everyday brand.
If somebody go in the back room with you and Rob, can they share the beer? They
can indulge. We'll let them in.
Gotcha.
But, we need to kind of know if they're beer curious before.
They can't crack that bottle.
No, you're not just cracking. You're not just cracking and just saying, "Yo, I'm gonna have this whole thing." Because it's almost like you always know, like when you go to the cookout and the kids' cooler, and you buy that miniature water or those hugs because you don't get them kids that full can of soda. Because they're gonna waste it.
There's gonna be sodas all over it's like an Easter egg hunt full of soda cans.
Yeah. So ours is a little segregated. Now, I'm trying to think from the last 2 Christmas parties that we've had, because we didn't have it 2020 with COVID. But I'm trying to think, have we introduced anybody else, Rob, that's come that maybe I'm trying to think. Did Josh possibly, or maybe Brandon possibly have some of the beer we had?
Well, Brandon might have, but
Brandon might have.
I mean, he drank Sour Monkey, so
yeah.
So he do some things anyway.
So there's a reason why. So like again, there's beer for the party, and then there's the craft beers that that's only shared amongst a few. So two fridges, main fridge, and I still use both. Forget what she talking about, the refrigerators for food. I don't want to go to the basement per se all the time to get the beer out of that one. I keep some right local on the first floor.
Yeah. I think I pretty much had the same story. I think my wife was like, and her sisters, they probably conspired. They was like, we gotta get this beer out of my main refrigerator.
Yeah, man.
So I do have one. I still put like bigger bottles. I probably put in the refrigerator that can be refrigerated. Now, if it was like something that was aging, I'll probably put on the shelf down here in the cellar, I guess, but my basement. But other than that, I have one. It's called his full now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cellar.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah.
You try to sell all fancy shit in my cellar.
That was awesome. That was amazing. I just go down to my cellar.
I said really my basement.
Yeah, I mean, but you shouldn't have kept it. You shouldn't have humbled yourself. You should have just kept it cellar. Because that shit was phenomenal.
Yeah, the
cellar. Yeah. So a lot of, but I mean, I think I don't think I segregate into beers though, because most of the beers that are being cellared are the ones I probably won't be sharing, so they won't see them anyway unless you're actually really on the hunt for them. Everything else is in the cooler. I mean, in the fridge, so you can definitely go and try it, because there are some that's been there for a little bit. So good luck.
Yeah, drink at your own risk. It's time for you to recycle. That's why what I did for for Barrel and Flow. Just stuff that people had sent us and we had extras of. I actually took it all to Flow Fest, and I didn't come back with really any of it. I just said, let me just get fresh, and I just said, just give it out.
Yeah, I did that too, but I came back with more beers.
I know. Hey, we gotta have either we got another beer fest to go to. We got maybe another little bottle share we can have for Delaware Beer Fest like the day before. So yeah, we can do the same thing.
I started, I guess, because I really wasn't buying beer that much. But when I did buy it, my wife was immediately irritated. So she bought me it was just crazy. Because when I did, because it was like, y'all kind of live near places that serve craft, that got craft beers in it. Like you and Rob do. But me, I got to either take a trip close to Rob, or I got to take a trip down Middletown or Newark or something. So I wasn't getting it as often.
We're here in Claymont.
Yeah, but see, all that's the same distance
for me. Any of them.
And still, all of them's a ride for me. Not like a super ride, but it ain't like 5 minutes and 5 minutes like Rob and them got. So it was like when I would go, I would end up getting like 5. I would grab a couple packs. You know what I mean? And so when I did it, just immediately,
that bill wasn't cheap either with the 5 packs. You was spending like $70 on a run.
$70 in the I'm like, it's never cheap. But
but look,
I did that
to that
like,
you could just say, look, it's no different than that Target run you make.
Yeah. I mean, and then like people that drink liquor anyway, period, spend a lot of money. Like, because you just buy a bottle of anything, it's like, and it's so good. It's over $20.
They drinking that in a week.
Yeah, and then it's going in a week, and you back to the liquor store.
Yep.
Yikes! If it's going in a week, you going heavy on liquor.
Like, how some people drink like wine every night,
right?
Oh, right.
Wine every night.
Yeah, some people drink Hennessy every night,
right?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yep.
Because I'm looking at this bottle of liquor I had for a minute. I don't know how.
Right.
What is it? Ciroc?
No, it's not Ciroc. It's a whiskey. It's whiskey.
Oh, okay.
So to just back to her question, Yoda, your beer fridge is your fridge.
Yeah.
When you stock up, you just slide it in there and put it in
but he has a beer fridge though. He has a beer fridge.
You do. Oh, you do.
No, what I'm saying is that my beer fridge is just, I don't need to use the regular refrigerator anymore.
Got it. You got the designated one.
It's designated. Rob knows because he always in that motherfucker. Every time he calls me, look.
There you go. He want to see if you stocked up right.
What I can say is that
don't disappoint now.
I don't have nothing he'll want, or he'll just be like, I'll just take this, or he'll put something in there. So
yeah, that's a good trade-off.
Because most of the time we like, you ain't drink this yet.
Right. You gotta check up on him. Right?
He be shaming you, Joe.
Exactly. You know, it's like sometimes. Have you ever noticed? I don't know if you guys noticed or this happened. Not everybody's parents do this. My parents, when I moved out to my first house and bought my first house, my mom and my dad, they would always generally come and check in my fridge, like to see, like, well, let's see if you got some groceries and shit in there.
You got more than just milk in the fridge,
right? And you living like a college boy, or you got some groceries in there. It need to be stocked up. You need a grocery gift card or something. So that came to mind when you say Rob come to your house and he check your beer fridge. Like, let me make sure he living right.
Believe he ain't drunk this shit. I gave it to him 2 months ago.
That's right, man.
God damn it!
Like, you ain't drink this. Why don't it taste good no more?
Why I even give it to you? You said you wanted it. You didn't really want it.
I'm gonna take my shit back.
Somebody else could have drunk this. Selfish.
Like,
You
just
selfish.
drink it, man.
Yeah.
Right, just take it back.
But no, it was that one point Robert come over and leave and just bring a bunch of beer and leave the shit, and I wouldn't know, right? And I would go buy beer and I would go to stick it in the fridge and like, where all these beers come from? This dude just get rid of shit that he ain't want. He was putting it in my fridge. Like, that is dirty.
That's not dirty. I'm community. I was sharing.
Right.
Sharing is caring.
It's like an elf. It's like Christmas Eve, man. You open up your fridge and it's just filled. Stocking stuffed.
He ain't want it. I didn't want it. So it's like, dude, like, what are you doing?
You may want it. You may.
Yeah, but you got the part. That's like how people come through and party. They might be like, yo, let me get some. What's in the fridge?
That's the good stuff. He ain't giving that good stuff.
Nah, like I don't mind people going in my beer fridge because my thing is, like, if you come over and you go in the beer fridge and you see something that might be interesting, tell me first, definitely. But because you may not drink it all, so I want to be there when you open it. Because if you don't like it, I don't want you to be like, oh fuck it, I dump it out. I want to I'll just take it.
Yeah.
But I don't mind.
Do not dump this shit out, yo.
Huh?
Don't just go in somebody's. That's the worst. Going in somebody's beer fridge and just, I don't like this shit.
Yeah.
And then pouring it in the sink. Like, no, you don't gotta pour in the sink, bro. That's why we use glasses. Don't put your mouth on my bottle. Give me my bottle back. Goddamn.
Right. If you will notice who is used to sharing beer versus or like sampling or trying. Because there's some people in our immediate circle. Like the first time we went, if you remember, Lou, when we all left Montclair and we went to Jason's crib.
So his etiquette was off.
Right? We took out 16 ounce cans to pour, and he was like, he cracked it and was like, right from the can. He was like, hold on.
Like, damn, I guess we're not gonna get the taste.
I just looked at him like, oh, he don't know. I'm like, okay, he can have that. He can have it. But
right,
okay,
exactly. Like, yeah, that's your beer now. That's your beer.
That's your beer.
Like, oh, we can't. No, you can't taste nothing else. That's you got just one beer.
Yeah,
supposed to be a share, but you ruined that.
All right. Do you have any more questions for Elle?
No, she's enjoying this. She's enjoying this. Oh man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, once again, we want to thank Elle, founder of AirBrewNB, coming on the podcast.
Yeah. Wish you much success.
Yeah. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Love what you're doing.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Before we go, we always like to know how people can find you on these worldwide webs. So, and even virtually or non-virtually. So, how can they find all about AirBrewNB?
I keep it simple. It's AirBrewNB, all one word. Instagram, Facebook, handles the same. Website, that's exactly the same. I try to keep it super simple. So just look us up at AirBrew, the letter N, and then B. AirBrewNB.
There it is. That's what's up. That's simple enough. Yo, how can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at IM3021ODA.
All right.
Got it. In case you didn't know.
Just in case you didn't know how to spell it.
Right.
Yeah. Don't
And
don't put two O's in there.
and Lou, how can they find you?
Oh man, I'm Lou, Belgium. I'm on the Instagrams. Shout out to Beer Talk Now. I got the beer, bro. It finally came. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Hey,
There you go.
Hey.
All right, Dev, how can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Dev Drinks Craft Brew. Easy enough.
There it
You
is.
can find Dad with a cooler at the beer fair.
Such a success.
Changing the culture. He changed the whole culture.
Yo,
Yeah, 'cause a lot of people was like, yo,
Guess
how
how
you get
many?
that?
Guess how many people gonna come with a cooler next year to the beer
They
fair?
gonna say no coolers because of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yo,
man,
when-
you already know. No, not next year. Not next year, but in
next year.
2023,
Yeah.
no coolers. It won't be no coolers allowed because of Dev.
no, you know what? I'll just make sure that I have that exclusive pass to have my cooler in, because not
Because
only did
we
that cooler
originated
serve as what it was made for, like I showed you, Yoda, I could sit down if I needed to take a break. I had
That's all he
an
was doing.
immediate seat
Every
anywhere I needed.
time somebody would ask him why you got that cooler, he's like, I got beers to get and seats to take. Look at my seat.
Hey, baby, I got it right here. Bam. They were like, man, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
You can find Brews and Banter Podcast at Brews and Banter Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. On Twitter, you can find us at Bruising P. Well, I think you can also just put in Brews and Banter Podcast and it'll come as well. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can even obviously find this on YouTube and Facebook. Remember to smash that like button.
Smash it.
You can go to www.brewsandbanter.com and you can find all the platforms we're on. You can, if you want to buy Brews and Banter merch, like the t-shirt I got on here, there you go. You can check that out as well. And if you want to follow me, Rob G, it's at hold on.
What?
Rob Stay Bruising.
Oh, you know what? One last thing. Shout out to all the people that I met at Fresh Fest or Barrel and Flow Fest last week, and the people that allowed me to take their phones and sign up, subscribe to the podcast. I appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Letting me do that and just meeting everybody and y'all making us feel like we were halfway famous. It was pretty
shout
cool.
out to everybody that we didn't take a picture with.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have no clue why, but we didn't.
Look, I was never mind.
It was a lot, but I mean I know one of the reasons why I didn't take the pictures, but but
You
I
was
took
feeling
some.
good. That's why.
That wasn't the main reason.
People was wondering. They said, you know what, Rob, you still can do some production, under the influence. They were like, oh, we didn't know.
It was like, wow, why
You was gonna be able to pull out that little lapel and hook it up.
But I wasn't though. I was straight.
Okay.
My eyes is always low, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay. I got some footage.
Unless I go like this.
All
right, bro.
You got some footage for him there.
I really
I ain't got no footage. I know you got no footage because
I know it was a point. I will
always have those images.
Me and Yoda walked to the side and just looked at you, Rob.
I'm about to say, I would have those images etched in my brain. I would have those images etched in my brain. You probably thought you were walking normal or straight, but you were walking like head first.
Stop.
Oh no! When I was swerving, I knew when I was. I felt the swerves.
Oh, you felt it?
I felt the swerves.
Yoda, did you have to tell him? Slow down. Slow down.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
I said, you don't gotta look like you jump. Just slow down.
Just slow down.
Slow down.
Well, because the thing is, I was trying to get it to many places as I could without also drinking all of it.
Right.
But then I had to. But there was not as. I couldn't find a place to dump the stuff, and I just wanted to dump it on the ground.
That's in the grass.
So sometimes I did
There's a lot
have
of
to
buckets. There's a lot of dump buckets.
Yeah, but sometimes they had other stuff in it. Some people didn't put their dump bucket out, so I wouldn't.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, once again, I want to. Well, no, that was it. I want to thank Elle for coming on again. Get another hand clap.
Thank you, gentlemen. This was so much fun. This was an absolute blast. Thank you very much.
Yes.
It was a great way to start my week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Until next time, this has been episode 135 of Brews and Banter Podcast. Until next time,
have a good week, everyone.
Have a good week.
What's this, a remake?
Yeah.
I'm with it though, she a centerfold. Big old blunder like Tentacle. She stripping Europe in a pole. Don't remember her in a clothes.